I really feel like I'm getting ready for the evening news sometimes. With all this, set up the camera, set up the microphone, run over here, take care of that bear. Um, One of these days, I am going to have a studio where everything is set up and I can just sit down. My computer stays in one place. Everything is in perfect balance. Everything is absolutely wonderful. The microphone is there, so I can zoom when I need to zoom. I can record what I need to record. So excited for those days that are soon coming. So today my topic is controversy and vibration. And you might want to wonder why, because this is a big idea and concept that we have repeatedly. I don't know that there's not one spiritual worker, light worker, spiritual teacher that is talking about the fact that the more that we create controversy or more we allow controversy in our life, the lower our vibration. So that's what we're talking about today. And I think it's because we're coming into a holiday season, and I don't adhere to all the holidays. I'm not a real big holiday person. I was when the kids were little, but now I just enjoy the company of friends and family that I enjoy. And I don't worry about all the pomp and fanfare. That doesn't mean to say that we're not still having a potluck on Thursday of Thanksgiving. So whether you're going to celebrate Thanksgiving or Indigenous Day, please come and join us. Give me a holler with what you're bringing for your potluck. So I don't know if you've been listening to what I've been listening to. I think I was thinking about this morning. Ever since cable news came out so long ago, it was the media kind of took over an editorial, and it quit being news because they announced the news and they had an opinion on news. And not everybody agreed with that opinion because they had another newscaster who was giving a different opinion. So what we became was a country of opinions. And I gotta say that in my opinion, we've gone so far down the rabbit hole looking for our ego that we've lost our sanity. It's kind of funny that way because people don't always look at what it is that we're really, what is news? It's the same repeated thing about the virus. It's everything. It's just constantly the same thing over and over and over and over, and one person trying to one up the other, because the higher their ratings, the more money they're paid. We're not even hearing news. Like, did you know that yesterday Japan had a 6.5 magnitude earthquake? I mean, that's pretty intense, and I don't know if you remember, but when Japan had that tsunami that happened with that earthquake, it moved, it shifted Japan a couple of inches. And that's light years to do to a piece of land on our earth. We've also had America being found guilty by the UN of crimes against humanity, and people don't even realize the magnitude of what that means. We used to be the country that stood up for the little ones, for the people who couldn't. And I've seen ads both from China and Germany asking for money to help feed Americans because 20% of Americans are going hungry. Shame on us. That's all I can say, shame on us. We claim higher consciousness, yet we argue about wearing a mask, forgetting all the while that our neighbor is dying of cancer and needs their garbage can put back to their house. Now, I'm not going to say whether you should wear a mask or not wear a mask. I'm asking you, pay attention to your neighbor. A lot of people aren't. We're not being there for each other. We're not having compassion. We're just worried whether or not we have to wear a mask. And that's the kind of stuff that is getting us in hot water here on a spiritual level. And the reason that we're not going to drag our neighbor's trash can up is because they had a political sign in their yard years ago that you're still disagreeing with today. when it's a moot point. It's a moot point. We've all moved on. Shame on us again. We're so focused on what we don't have that we use that don't have mentality, that want focus, and we're pushing it further away. We're not even really writing down what it is that we really want. Do I want somebody to push my trash can up into my yard? That would be nice, but it's not necessary. It's not what I want. I don't want for anything. I have everything, and it happens just in perfect timing. And I'm happy because I don't consume my entire world with wanting. There's other people that are screaming from the rooftops that they have such a high state of consciousness that they don't want to waste time on people with lower consciousness. Now, I do understand on some level, how that is because if people aren't interested in growing spiritually, it becomes a moot point. You spin your wheels, you waste your time. But that doesn't mean that we have to ignore people completely. It means that we have to have compassion. And it means that we have to keep saying words of encouragement. We shouldn't be trying to pull them out of the quicksand that they landed in for the 13th time, but when they're ready to hear other things and do other things in their life and have a more spiritual existence, we need to pay attention. We need to hear their signals. We need to provide avenues for them to hear. We need to read the books, give them a book, tell them about different spiritual teachers that you have found engaging and that have taught you something. Turn them on to listen to them. We just shouldn't be pushing so hard against everything that our words of encouragement can't be heard. We shouldn't be arguing. We shouldn't be torn, worried about what it is that we aren't doing. We're so busy trying to prove who's right that this division is at its crescendo at this time. We're creating our life from our beliefs, so everyone wants to be heard. Well, truth is found in love, in the love we hold for one another, in the love we hold for ourselves. That's where truth is found. Not in the division created by people who are invested in our failures. And I don't often say that, but there are people who, I remember somebody telling me one time they had started an argument between my son and I said, why would you do that? And they said, because I could, because I didn't want to go where you wanted to go, so I figured if I started a fight, you'd want to go home and I could do what I wanted to do. And I said, well, it didn't work that way, now did it? So basically, that person was not welcome back in my world, because if you're going to start a fight, you have to be willing to lose. And the consequences sometimes are losing the people who are most valuable to you. What we can do now, and what we should be doing, is really focusing on what it is we do and see in our life. Like literally seeing the best. Have you ever had that time where you had to go in and ask for a raise for your boss? And while you were asking for the raise the night before, you were so worked up about it, you were like, bah, 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 bah. And you were questioning, answering, and you were doing his part, your part, her part, everybody involved in this raise. You were playing all their parts. You had all your bases covered. You practiced it. You honed in on it. And the end result is maybe you got a big maybe, because you didn't focus on the fact that you were going to go in and just get the raise. Because you can do that. We just forget. Our fear comes up and it consumes us, and we push away that which we are trying to create and bring into our lives. What about that girl that you thought was really cute? Telling her how she feels and what she should do in your head is not going to get you a long, loving supportive relationship. Seeing a spiritual connection between the two of you growing, now that can get you somewhere. Everybody's so busy, worried about being alone and needing a soulmate and needing somebody to fix it for them, that they forget that they can do it just by seeing in their mind's eye it done. You know, we consciously create our failures by consciously imagining them. It doesn't matter what other people are creating in their world. And I say that because, you know, when you're playing that boss's role and you're hearing her say to you, hey, budget is tight right now, we can't give you that raise, maybe next year. When you're seeing that in your head, you're bringing her forward to say that to you. And these are the things that we struggle with. These are the things that we don't always go through and complete with. When you're so busy head talking about what it is that you want, and then angry because you didn't get what you wanted and they didn't respond the way you wanted, remember that we're co-creating in this. So wants imply lack, which means you don't have. So it's kind of this really weird balance that we're going through to come into the higher levels of consciousness. You know, people can say all day long, I'm going to wake up in the fourth dimension. I'm going to wake up in the fifth dimension. I'm going to wake up in the sixth dimension. I just want to wake up and be happy and feel the love. That's where I'm at. I just want to have love for everyone in my world, and I want to have love for myself. Everything after that will fall into place in perfect balance. And I'm sure of it. I know it. I've seen a lot of controversy between people. I mean, it's silly controversy, and I'm telling you this because this is how silly I think this is. Gen Xers are mad at their parents, the boomers, because the boomers abuse them. And it's like, wait a minute, we forget we incarnated at this time for this great awakening. We incarnated to come into this time where we are watching the best evolution of spiritual consciousness if we want to. Of course, you could stay in 3D, you could keep yourself there, but we're right there, and everything is powerful, and it's right there for the asking. And we forget that we chose those parents to bring us those lessons. And we might have chose those parents to bring us those lessons so that it would trigger our healing, so that it would trigger us to search for a higher spiritual understanding, so we could heal from that trauma that probably has been created lifetime after lifetime, and for them too, that we forget that we did this to ourselves. So why are we blaming the parents? Because we don't want to be accountable. By the way, I'm a boomer. And my kids don't blame me. I think that every generation does better if they can for their children. It's not something anybody deliberately does. I just think it's just societal teachings. Spare the rod, spoil the child. That's where my parents came from, and they were the silent generation. They were beaten and disciplined, and they thought that's the way they should bring up their boomer children, and the boomer children either did or didn't do it. The point is it doesn't matter. That was then. Time is not linear, it's spherical. You can go back and change how you react to all of this by just consciously changing your consciousness now. You know, I want to hold people that have taught me lessons with love and compassion, and have that connection of peace and tranquility in my life. I don't want to go to bed head talking because I'm still pissed off at the guy who dumped me for prom. Of course, I didn't get to go to prom except with a couple of friends. I always went with friends. I didn't ever have a date, so that's just an example. Because I didn't I wasn't the cool girl, so why would I be angry at somebody not asking me to prom? How's that? Because that's silly. I had a lot happy with who I am. And I don't care what my parents did because that was then and this is now. And I'm really happy. I remember telling my mother when I was like 3, you're not my boss. I don't live here. And I have been struggling to stay on the earth plane ever since then because I don't live here. I'm just a visitor, just like the rest of us. So there's ways that we need to do and things we need to do to let go of moment now, this 3D concept of right and wrong, this life of illusion that we're creating that's not really real. And one of it, if you want to raise your consciousness, is to let go of your ego. You know, my mom told me one time it's edging God out. It is. It's edging the God consciousness, the Christ consciousness out of our life. We're so worried that we've got to have the new car, the really cool house, that we will make ourselves sick in order to have that. And it's not worth it. You can get sick all on your own. Why do you have to worry yourself sick? If that's what you want to do, is create sickness. We need to get out of blame. You know, we brought everyone in to our world to teach us. We can't blame them when they did exactly what we scripted them to do in our play. And shame. You know, I remember my daughter really did something bad. It wasn't really that bad, but she was mortified and horrified, and she felt, you could feel the shame just emanating off of her. And I said, honey, there is nothing that you can do that is so bad that I will not love you. And it's not just a mother's love, it's divine love. It's that none of us have done anything so bad that we're unworthy. There is within each of us this beautiful light. We are all beings of light. So as soon as we quit going, you're bad, I'm good, she's good, but you're bad over here and you did that bad. The actions are not pleasant. The actions are not necessarily good actions. So you can get frustrated with the actions, but then you got to ask yourself, well, this action upsets me. Why am I seeing it? And what did I do to bring it in? And why am I seeing this on my plate? Because remember, we bring each other in to create our script for higher learning, to wake ourselves up. Now, guilt is the absolute hardest one, because somehow when you carry this mantle of guilt, it's because you think you were out of integrity, that you did something wrong. To feel guilt, to repeat it, to feel guilt, we feel we were out of integrity. But that's not necessarily the case. You know, I've invited in a lot of people, and there are things that I've done that have not been up to my level of what I hold as my integrity. And I've slid down that dark hole and kicked myself all the way back up and been really horribly guilty about it. And then I read Michael Rowe's book, and he said, if you know that everything is in perfect timing, if you know that everything is as it should be, if you truly believe this, then you know that everything that you've done has been in perfection for the benefit of all. So if there's no shame, no guilt, then there's no apologies necessary. Now, if I accidentally kicked your water over as I walked past you, or did something like that, of course an apology is always warranted because you didn't mean to. It's also very heartfelt and very good to get it off of your chest if you feel guilty to say I'm sorry. But you have to remember that when you're saying you're sorry, it's for your healing, not for what you think you want to hear from them back. Because it doesn't work That way they may not feel sorry, they may not feel guilty. It doesn't matter. You have to do for you what is in your awareness to do. Maybe say, you know, if there was one apology I could give to my son's father, it would be, I'm really sorry that we couldn't find a way for us to balance out so that Lance wouldn't have been had the issues that he did have. And then I went, no, why would I do that? Because it was perfect. Lance and his father had an agreement that was not part of my agreement with his dad. It was between the two of them. So why would I apologize for that? See? We have to really understand what it is that we're looking to gain from our words and our actions and our deeds. And hopefully your focus is on love, light, peace, harmony, tranquility, prosperity, abundance for all. You know, if we, biggest point to make is we're here to grow. We're here to really kind of take ourselves up that extra notch, and we're here to not think ourselves above somebody else and not below another person. We're here to honor and love ourselves. And when you love yourself, you emanate freedom for everyone to love you. And it's emanating freedom. It's freedom. You love you, and that exudes outward. You're waves of love, and people respond to that. So instead of being the martyr and feeling embarrassed or ashamed or unworthy, find that place to love yourself, and maybe just say it to yourself every morning when you wake up. I am giving myself the gift of love. I unconditionally love myself. And when you do that, and you repeat that, it starts changing your vibration. Every cell in your body starts to heal, everything. Excuse me. So we have to consciously imagine what we want our world to look like. Sorry. So we consciously create. So I want you to go in there and consciously see yourself as a being of light and love. You have to let go of the preconceived ideals and ideas and just know and feel, open the heart to love yourself. Sorry about this. I don't have anything to drink. Okay, so thank you for listening to me. My heart to all of yours. Mwah. Just as a little side note, I want to say don't forget we have Psychic Fair this Sunday. We have Spirit Circle on Saturday. We have Christine Michelle's guided meditation with sound. She is an amazing sound healer. She'll be at Psychic Fair. Don't forget Teresa with Transmosis Healing will be there, along with Brother Francis with doing his I am. Sorry, Celestial I am. I am so sorry. Donna, Rosie will be doing readings. Johanna, if you want your astrological chart done, maybe for the holidays, she's going to be here this Psychic Fair. Yay, we're excited that she's able to join us this weekend. This weekend. Myself, I hope I didn't forget anybody. Oh, Susan Zumo will be here. Of course, we all love Susan. I mean, amazing woman. So we also have next week, we have the Full Moon Circle on Friday night. Sammy Starr is coming in. She's going to be doing that one. We have the webinar for the Ancestral Access. If you want to chime in and listen to that, email me and I will send you the link. And our potluck for Thanksgiving, don't forget, we have a couple of them. Yay! We have a couple of new business members that are joining us to be working from here. Brianna Estrada, I believe she posted yesterday, she has 20% off your first session with her. She'll be in on Saturday, so if you want to drop in and get a Reiki session. And we also have Amber Hahola, who will be joining us on Tuesdays. She also is a Reiki healer, and she will be coming in to do her work. We've got some really big surprises coming up for the holidays and for the beginning of the year. I'm going to say it out loud because I know it's going to happen. Darlene Costello, which if you've been in this world for any length of time, she's read at Blue Eagle, she read out at Corrales. Darlene is probably the dearest, oldest friend of my heart in this line of work that I have, other than another friend of mine, Peggy. But Darlene is the one who taught me tarot so many years ago. And she is a gifted tarot reader. So hopefully you'll be interested in taking her class. We still have the online class. She'll be doing it in-house. And we have the online tarot reading classes. And we also have Elizabeth Persapio of Soul Face Portraits, who has put out her deck, Dreaming at the Well. And she's going to give a class on it the first Saturday in December. So now that I've given you my myriad calendar of events in a nutshell from now until later on, know that I think of you guys always, and I absolutely love and adore each of you. Please come by, visit. And don't forget, you're welcome for Thanksgiving Day, Indigenous Day. We would love to see you. My heart to all yours. Bye now.